If you are looking for a more flexible approach to working and you want to increase your productivity by up to 15%, then Pasfield Curran has the solution. Involved in implementing annualised hours since the mid-1980s, Pasfield Curran has made a huge impact on improving the business performance of major blue-chip companies.
The first thing you've got to do is basically look at the internal demands on the business. You've got to say, what are the demands, basically, whether they're coming from external and obviously translated into internal demands, to really find that demand profile, sort of when are people needed, by what skills, how many people, all things like that. And then basically it's a matter of adapting the flexibility of people to match that demand. We need to have a thorough understanding of your business. Obviously, you will understand the business more than I do, but we will work with you and work with your people to actually come up with the correct solution, the better solution, with which will make these productivity savings.
All businesses face demands that are out of their control, but these demands will have impact. These can be external forces such as changes in the market and competition, legislation and the political and economic environment. These then translate into internal demands such as customer requirements, performance expectations, operating methods, work practices and attendance patterns, to name just a few. Employee expectations are also a major consideration. To determine the real demands, we must examine this multi-dimensional business model comprising all of these forces. Some of these will be unique to each business and consequently flexible working arrangements need to be tailored to each organisation or operating unit.
Every project is different. Every business is different. Obviously there's lots of aspects which are the same, but each business has its own solution, its own flexibilities requirement, its own demand profile, and that's what we've got to work with. We've got to work with not just the management, it's those people that are actually going to work these new flexible arrangements, and we'll work with them, often involving them to actually to develop the guidelines for the flexibility itself and getting them to understand why the flexibilities are needed, which is really often a big step. They've always thought it's just management dumping on them, but really once they understand why things have to change at such short notice, well, they work better. You've got the pull of the business which says we want to get things done in the shortest amount of time for the least possible amount of money, and you've got the pull of people which basically says, how can we create more money? How can we sort of get overtime and various other things like this? But what you do with the schemes we put in is basically you incentivise the business and the people in the same way, so the pull is the same. Basically it becomes beneficial for the people, the employees, to produce more, perform the service or whatever it is in as little time as possible to the right quality standards.
Using these tools, new team structures and ways of working can be implemented, matching the available hours of employee work teams to the demand for products and services.
The first thing to look at is the demand profile. And obviously then we're trying to match up the business presence of people to match that demand profile. But more than that, what we want to create is the situation where essentially people are busy all the time. So we look at how best they work, when they work, what the situation is when they're working at their most productive, and basically replicate that throughout the entire year. So it may be that we're going to actually create the possibility of this 15% productivity increase, for instance.
Pasfield Curran has consistently proved the business benefits of a more flexible approach to work, delivering higher productivity, enhanced quality and customer service, increased staff motivation, commitment and reduced absence. In addition, it's been easier for clients to attract and retain good people and ensure legal compliance.
We've worked with some major brewers, for example, where had we not been involved, the site would have actually closed. And now it remains open and is very, in fact they're actually putting more beer through that site now than ever before.
To meet each customer's needs, Pasfield Curran applies 5 key concepts. Firstly, we assess the real demand for products and services and then develop a flexible approach to working time. We then look at job and team profiling to establish meaningful structures and address employees' work-life balance. Finally, we look at motivation and reward to underpin the new ways of working.
From the employer's point of view, they get potentially less time at work, which is a huge incentive, obviously. There's time for training. Lots of businesses just say, we are going to do training, and it doesn't get done. when you actually plan along the schemes that we put in, we can plan for training which doesn't take away from the actual work.
At Pasfield Curran, we work with your business every step of the way, from analysis straight through to implementing those new working practices. And with our colleagues at Crown Computing, experts in workforce management software, rest assured we have the perfect solution for your business.